Okay, so hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Caribbean HRD TV. And today we speak again with management guru, Mr. Alvin Day, about several matters, HRD. We're going to start with looking at employer branding today. You consult, Mr. Day, with companies all over the world, and you're asked to train the senior management team in those organizations. And I'm assuming that this is because the organizations want to be and to do better in terms of building winning cultures and developing and executing effective strategies. And I'm imagining that employer branding is a part of that. So I wanted to ask you if you can outline for us the importance of employer branding to contemporary organizations.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you again, Alvin, for the opportunity to share. And the subject is an important one. The first place is to look at, the first point is to look at branding and is it important or not? And we go back to the brand, the customer brand to get the meaning. The branding for a product or service is the building up of equity around that name, that presence, that product, so that when the name comes up or the product is visible in one way or another, the potential purchaser or customer believes certain things about what's inside the package or what is in the delivery of the service. So it is a packaging of reputation, of expectations that sometimes are real and sometimes are not real, but those generate the demand so people want the thing. It is very important. Branding is critical because decisions are made largely with emotions by human beings, are made by emotions. Now, in the case of products and services, branding works well when you do it in the classical way of working on reputation and advertising and so forth, and of course, delivering quality. In the case of branding for companies' image, so that staff members would want to work, potential staff members would want to come in, it's a little trickier because if you are selling soap, the effectiveness of the product is measurable, it's consistent, it's objective. If you're selling a company, the effectiveness of the company as portrayed by the people who are evaluating it is subtle and it is emotional and it is perceptual. What that suggests is that it is arguably harder to brand the company as a good place for employment than it is to brand the company as selling good soap or good toothpaste or good lawn care, as the case may be. So I want to just start by saying branding is critical, but it is a challenge, isn't it? So before I go on then, have you found that challenge, Olivine, in branding, when you think about branding as something that it's dicey, it is hard to pin down, and it just comes out the way it comes out because it's subjective and perceptual?
Well, yes, I would agree with what you've said there. But all right, my thinking on that is that it is dicey only if you have a dicey product. So if your company is dicey, you may choose to smooth. The word isn't really smooth, but you know what I mean. Sort of, shave that. Try to fix it up. You're hiding something, so you're not authentic. That's the sort of thing that I'm thinking about there.
That's right. That's
So
right.
so as you say, it is something a little nebulous. And so I think that is why you yourself have to be as transparent as possible.
That's right. And that's good. That's good because it's connected to the next point here that says we established that branding is important because its reputation, its packaging, it generates the demand that one would want for the product. On the one hand, on the other hand, if a company has to work on branding its product of being a good place in which to work, it may be doing things backwards. Because what needs to happen is for a company to have the kind of brand that it wants in the marketplace with regard to being the place in which to work, it must work on the way it treats the people on the inside so that the message on the outside comes out organically.
Yes,
If
yes.
I have to put my pizza on TV and tell people that it's beautiful and so forth, oh, okay, that's fine. It might work for the physical brand, but the brand that we want starts on the inside, not on the outside, when it comes to the reputation of the company. So yes, branding is important. And if a company faces a recruiting challenge, if a company is a part of the war for talent, and most companies are, the mandate is to turn inward and take care of the internal customer first. And when that internal customer feels respected, feels like they have a voice, feels like this company is bona fide and treats them well, that word filters out by word of mouth, and it is far more powerful than if we were to go advertise and take out ads on social media and so forth. And I think that is the prize that everybody is looking for. It is easy to acknowledge that and say, yeah, that makes sense. But there's a whole lot of content now about what a company must do in order for it to communicate the care for its people, in order for it to communicate care for its people and at the same time hold its people accountable for productivity. So sometimes when a company doesn't get it right, it's not for lack of intention. Sometimes it's for lack of understanding that balance of being nice to folks, making sure they feel celebrated, giving them a sense of choice, and at the same time, holding them accountable for productivity. Because in the private sector, corporate business for profit, the reason companies exist is to make money. So I have seen companies where the people feel wonderful and they get prizes for everything. And the big companies, annual conferences is in exotic places and they're charmed and they don't produce.
The thing is, I was just sitting here wanting to ask you if it is possible for somebody to be an employer of choice and yet have a bad product. I was actually going to ask you that.
Now, when you say product, are you talking about
What,
the
what I was,
product of
the
employment?
thing that
Mhm.
they say, that if you treat your employees well and you cause them to believe in the company's mission and vision and all of it, that it will come out, it will show in the work that they do for you. So whatever it is you're selling, if you're selling widgets or you're selling pizzas, they will make good pizzas because they have a pride in the company's product. So I was
Yes.
actually just mulling here. Is it possible for you to do all that? And it's not, as you say, just, having exotic places and good prizes for Employee of the Month, but is it possible for you to really do all of that right and the product still isn't something that you, as the CEO, would be proud of?
Yes. Well, as you and I can quickly agree, business is a complex thing. There's no one answer to anything in business. On the one hand, if you don't have employees who are feeling good about their lives and so forth, and about how the company treats them, they will not communicate to each other. They will not communicate to their friends about this being the place in which to work. On the other hand, if you don't have a consumer deliverable product to the end customer, it is entirely possible that you can treat your people right and they can feel this camaraderie in the short to medium term.
Okay, all right.
In the short to medium term.
Yeah.
You can spend money on them, you can be nice to them and so forth. You don't hold them accountable and so forth, and they don't produce right. The complexity of business is things overlap and the lines are mushy because what you need for excellence in the production of the final product of excellence is you need the spirit and the emotions and the engagement of the people, but you also need business processes and you need science and you need operational efficiencies and you need infrastructure. So the company that does not invest in the infrastructure, in the research, in the development of its product, but invests in its people alone, the people may, with best intention, go at whatever they can. But if the company has bad strategies, the company produces bad products.
Okay.
See, so it's complicated in the sense that you can't take the attention off one and put it on the other. You have to figure out how they interlock so that the people are being inspired to do well within this infrastructure in which you've invested.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's back and forth. Now, it's true the people treated well will have a vested interest in the company and will speak up about the need for tools and resources and so forth. But unless those tools and resources are produced long term, that's going to impact the quality of the end product, which is going to impact the revenue coming in, which is going to impact the money available to provide conveniences for the training and development and the treatment of the people, which is going to produce disgruntlement, which is going to produce bad words going out. So you see, it requires all of that to be in place like a symphony.
Okay. All right. And you know, the role of HR in this, in getting it right.
Yes, the role of HR in getting it right is HR has to understand the importance of treating the people right. That part's easy. HR also has to understand what it takes to get management to pay attention to the need to treat the people right. That part is hard.
Okay, all right.
But
But
I've seen HR companies, HR groups that work their hearts out, but they can only work up to the level of the resources that management, senior management gives them. They don't have enough money, they don't have enough time. And so they work their fingers to the bone and all they get is bony fingers, as some old country and Western song says. So HR has to do its part, management has to do its part.
okay, all right. And you say a saleable company holds people accountable, treats people right, has something to sell, but it began selling because it's sold to the employees first, and then it's sold to the public. All right, so thank you so much for that, and I'll see you later, all right?
Okay, take care. Have a good day.
Okay.